The rain came down in sheets so heavy they blurred the world into smears of silver and shadow. Madison Hayes squinted through the windshield, gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles glowed white. She'd made it halfway across the Nevada desert before the storm hit. An angry, roaring thing that came out of nowhere and swallowed the highway whole. Her gas light blinked red. Of course it did. "Just great," she muttered, easing her foot off the pedal as the engine sputtered. The car shuddered, coughed, and rolled to a lifeless stop on the side of the deserted road. Madison rested her forehead against the wheel, trying to swallow the panic rising in her chest. She had left Los Angeles hours ago, running from a relationship that had gone toxic fast. She thought she'd make it to her cousin's place in Utah by sunrise. Instead, she was alone on a storm-struck highway, with no signal, no traffic, and no idea how far the next town was. Lightning cracked open the sky. She yanked her bag from the passenger seat, pulled on her thin jacket, and stepped into the storm. The wind slapped the door out of her hands. Thunder swallowed her gasp. She tried to run, tried to find shelter, but visibility was nearly zero. The storm was too strong. She was soaked through in seconds, the cold cutting straight to her bones. Then she heard it. A deep, rolling engine that didn't belong to a car. A motorcycle. Madison froze as a large black bike emerged from the fog of rain, its headlights slicing through the chaos. The rider wore a leather jacket with a patch she knew even from a distance. Hell's Angels. Her breath caught. She'd heard stories, some wild, some true, all intimidating. The bike stopped beside her. The rider pulled off his helmet. He was in his 40s, bearded, with steel blue eyes softened by concern. "You okay?" he shouted over the storm. Madison hesitated. "My car died. I don't know how far the next town is." He looked at her car, then back at her shivering form. "You'll freeze out here. Hop on." She blinked. "What? On your bike? In this storm?" "Only shelter within 20 miles is my club's outpost." He motioned behind him. "I won't hurt you, but you stay here. You're in real danger." Rainwater dripped down her face as she weighed her options. Stay alone in the freezing storm, or trust a Hell's Angel? She climbed on. He wrapped her hands firmly around his waist. "Hold tight. Name's Rook." "I'm Madison." He nodded once, dropped his helmet over her head, and gunned the engine. The bike growled down the highway, fighting the wind. Madison buried her face against Rook's back to protect herself from the rain. She felt his steady breathing, strong and grounding in the chaos. He rode with a confidence that made her feel, against all logic, safe. After what felt like an hour but was likely only minutes, Rook turned down an unmarked dirt road leading to a small cluster of buildings hidden behind tall pines. He parked and helped her down. A metal sign hung crookedly, "Angel's Rest, private property." Her legs shook when her feet hit the ground. Inside the main building, warmth blasted her skin. The place looked like a cross between a lodge and a workshop. Wooden beams, heavy tables, tools hanging on the wall, and a large stone fireplace roaring with heat. A few bikers turned when they saw her. Tough faces, tattoos, leather. Rook spoke before anyone could question. "Found her stranded on Highway 50. Storm nearly took her out." One of the men grunted. "Damn, storm's been knocking people around all night." Rook guided Madison to a chair by the fire. A woman, also in leather, handed Madison a towel and a warm mug of something sweet and spiced. "Thank you," Madison whispered. Rook pulled up a chair across from her. Now that the immediate danger was gone, she expected fear to creep back in. Instead, she felt oddly calm. "Where were you headed?" he asked. "Utah. Long story." He nodded slowly. "Storm's not letting up till morning. You're staying here tonight. We'll tow your car at first light." She stared at him. "Why are you helping me?" Rook leaned back. "Storm like this? Nobody makes it alone." His words hit deeper than she expected. Hours passed. The storm battered the roof, but inside the outpost, warmth and low chatter created a strange bubble of peace. Rook draped a dry blanket over her shoulders and even managed to get her to laugh once. He didn't pry into her past, didn't judge, just made sure she was safe. Around midnight, lightning flashed again, followed by a thunderclap so sharp the windows rattled. Madison flinched. Rook noticed and moved to sit beside her. "You're safe here," he said quietly. "I know." She looked at him, this rugged, intimidating man who had no reason to stop on the highway, but did. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe relief. She leaned her head against his shoulder. Rook didn't move, didn't speak, just let her rest, one large hand gently steadying her. By sunrise, the storm was gone, leaving the desert washed clean and glittering with dew. Rook walked her outside where a pickup truck was already hooked to her car. Madison turned to him.
"How do I repay you?"
He shook his head. "You don't?" But she stepped closer anyway. "Then, at least let me thank you properly." He raised a brow.
Madison pressed a soft kiss to his cheek. His jaw tensed slightly, the only hint her gesture meant something. She pulled back with a shy smile. "You saved my life." Rook put his helmet back on, but she caught the faintest smile beneath it. "Take care out there, Madison." She watched him ride off into the golden morning, the engine's rumble fading into the quiet desert. She didn't know if she would ever see him again. But she knew one thing for sure. On a storm-struck night, when she was lost, cold and terrified, it wasn't fate or luck that kept her alive. It was the Hell's Angel who stopped when no one else did.